friends, this is the Mrs. Wolfie from our half-acre homestead. Well, I went shopping today. And Super C had a sale on, I think they were $3.99 for 10 pounds of, you call them, some people call them rutabagas, but look, they're turnips. It says so right on the bag. I also got a 10-pound bag of carrots because the bag of deer carrots I bought went bad really quick. So I want to can some turnips, and I'm going to add a bit of carrot to the canning process because it reduces the amount of sugar you need to put in to cut the acidity when you're mashing. Like I like a little bit of molasses or brown sugar, but if you put carrots in while you're canning, it's sweeter. But the carrots don't need to be blanched. The rutabagas do. Many people ask me, I said I had turnips in the garden, but guess what? A lot of leaves, only one turnip about this size, so I bought some. Now a lot of people ask me how I prepare my turnips to peel them. It's this simple. Because they are tough. All right, now I've got the flat off, see? And I just cut it right down the middle. And then I slice it in about 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch slices, and then I peel it. It's so much easier to peel a small piece than the big piece. And since we're filling in a lot of the property behind the garden, it's my temporary compost heap. Well, it's not temporary, it's a compost heap. We got hopefully fill coming from the township because they're rotering out the ditches. And this is all organic material, so I'm not going to worry about where it goes when it goes into the ravine because it's just going to get covered in tree stumps and gravel and blocks of concrete and whatever else they find in the ditches when they clear them out. Now when I have them all peeled, I just cut them to about that size. Okay, here I have a 1/2 stock pot of water, and I'm just going to start, putting my turnips in. Be really careful not to splash, folks. Now I knew I had enough room in the stock pot because I cut them up into a similar stock pot in the first place. Now, these are going to come back up to a boil, and we're going to simmer them for 3 to 5 minutes. Okay, now that our rutabagas are in the stock pot, blanching, or simmering actually, we're going to peel up and cut up, Jesus, this is a tough one, some carrot so that we can add a little bit to each jar. Now, carrots don't have to be blanched, so that's why we're doing this now while the turnips are blanching, because the turnips have to be blanched. But why I like to put carrots in, because turnips can be pretty bitter or sour, and when I mash them, I usually add a little bit of brown sugar and butter to take some of that bitterness off. Carrots will do that naturally. So I like to be able to just dump it in, heat it up, mash it, and add butter. So this is what I figure the ratio is. 2 pounds of carrots to every 10 pounds turnip, or 1 pound of carrots to every 5 pounds of turnip. Okay, so since I don't have a lot of counter space, what I'm going to do is, right here I have 2, 4, 6, 7, 750 ml or a 1.5 pint jar. I get these when I buy Classico spaghetti sauce. Yes, you can reuse them. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my carrots here and I'm going to divide them between these 7 jars. I have a feeling I have more turnip than jars, so I'm going to save the rest of these carrots for the next one. Now I'm going to strain my turnips that have been simmering. I'm going to strain the water back into this stock pot because I'm going to use that to can my vegetables in rather than boiling a kettle with fresh water. Plus, you know exactly how much water you have. Okay. We'll set this on top of the other. And there's the water for our turnips. I don't know if I was recording or not, but now I'm filling my jars to 1 inch from the top with the blanched turnips. And it's a good thing that I had more jars in the dishwasher. And I'm going to put a little, like, 1/4 teaspoon of salt. I use a baby food spoon because I have been known to oversalt. So I'm going to put this in each jar. Alrighty. Here I have my prepared lids. They've been washed in warm soapy water and then rinsed. And here, over here, is my water that I simmered my turnips in. So let's get this on the road. Now I'm going to go ahead and fill each jar to 1 inch from the top. God bless the woman who told me to use a measuring cup instead of a ladle. Always, always debubble. Always, always wipe your rims with a clean damp paper towel. And on go our lids. These are the lid inserts I got in Ohio at Lehman's, and I love them. And we'll be back when I have all these in the canner. Okay, my pressure canner has the recommended amount of water in it with about 2 ounces of white vinegar to keep my jars from clouding. And I had enough room in the canner because these are 750 ml size jars. I had enough room in the canner for a 1 liter jar. So we're putting our lid on and locking it down. And as soon as this builds up a steady stream of steam, now if you notice this is cleaner here than anywhere else, it's because I went at this with some vinegar and a scouring pad because my weights were sticking open. So when you clean your weights, be sure and clean your spout too, okay? So when this builds up a steady stream of steam, we are going to set the timer for 10 minutes and we'll be back. Okay, this has been venting a steady stream of steam for the last 10 minutes. So now I'm going to put our 10-pound weight on it. Now please check your manufacturer's directions if you live 1,000 feet or more above sea level because the weight measures and the timing may change. All right, and as soon as this jiggles vigorously for the first time, then we are going to set our timer and we're going to can these as quarts, so it's 10 pounds pressure for 35 minutes. 30 if it was pints. Okay, there's our first vigorous jiggle. I'm going to turn this down to just below high, in between high and medium, and the timer has been set and is running for 35 minutes. Okay, our timer has gone off, so we're going to shut off our canner, and we are going to let this cool down naturally. Don't jiggle the weight, don't shake the pot, don't plunge it into cold water, and for God's sakes, do not try and open it until it is cool enough that you can lay your hand on it for 5 seconds. Okay, these were cool enough that I could take this off and no steam hissed and the button was down, but they're still quite hot to the touch. So if you're going to open them, be very, very careful if you're opening them while they're still hot. Just because there's no pressure, it doesn't mean there's no danger. Always open the lid away from you in case of steam. Just like that. And this is what I got out of 10 pounds of turnips and 2 pounds of carrots. Now notice here, I've been asked about this before. Notice some of the liquid has dropped down. That is because this jar was not debubbled properly, and it has forced liquid out of the jar with the air bubbles coming up from the bottom. But it's okay. It's still, as long as the seal holds, this is still good. This is the Mrs. Wolfie from our half-acre homestead saying, I just took the cake out of the oven, I took these out of the canner, I'm gonna vacuum my rug and go for a swim and be ready when Daddy gets here. Take care, God bless.